Kao vodeća svjetska farmaceutska tvrtka tražimo odgovore za najvažnije svjetske medicinske potrebe. Razvijamo proizvode kroz stroga testiranja u skladu s najvišim znanstvenim i etičkim standardima. Naše su 3 temeljne vrijednosti: čestitost, kvaliteta i uvažavanje ljudi. Takvim tvrdnjama sebe opisuje većina farmaceutskih tvrtki. Možda su nekada i bile istinite. Danas su tek reklamni slogan, prikladan vremenu u kojem na većini televizija svaka druga reklama reklamira neki lijek. Ako ne vjerujete, prebrojite sami. Nije nepoznato da su farmaceutskoj industriji, njezinim širenjem i jačanjem bila potrebna nova tržišta za razne nove lijekove. Stoga je svakojakim statistikama počela pretvarati i zdrave ljude u bolesne, pogotovo djecu koje je najlakše dati cjepivo protiv davno iskorijenjenih bolesti. Priča je to i o ovladavanju profesionalnom edukacijom, stručnim skupovima, kliničkim smjernicama i medicinskim časopisima. Priča je to o lažiranju podataka, podmićivanju, uništavanju ljudskog zdravlja i o mnogo čemu drugom. Sve je to u knjizi pod naslovom Nuspojava, smrt opisao dr. John Virapen, insajder sa 35 godina iskustva u farmaceutskoj industriji i bivši direktor jedne od najvećih tvrtki. Ima li bolje osobe za saznati mračnu stranu blještavih reklama za lijekove? I boljeg mjesta nego ovdje, na rubu znanosti. Dobro večer. Dr. John Virapen, jedan je od bivših direktora farmaceutske tvrtke Eli Lilly sa više od 35 godina iskustva u farmaceutskoj industriji. Večeras je ovdje kao autor knjige Nuspojava, smrt, u kojoj je opisao sve mehanizme koje koristi farmaceutska industrija i koje je uostalom koristio i on sam. Neke čak izmislio. Dobro večer.
Well, just to correct you a little bit, Chris, I worked for Lilly about 10 years, but I've been in the industry and worked for several other big players for 30 years plus.
Kad smo već kod vaših biografskih podataka, opišite nam malo što ste radili u tvrtki Eli Lilly i predstavite nam uopće malo tu tvrtku, jer mnogi ljudi zapravo ne znaju omjer i veličinu, snagu svih igrača na tržištu.
But first, let me tell you about how I started in the industry. And this was in 1968. I started as a salesman. And I got greedy for the career. I wanted to do something with this as my future. And to be able to know all the facets of the industry, I changed companies. Most of the time I was recruited to different jobs because I wanted to learn everything. Eventually, I joined Lilly as a Scandinavian product manager, and I was responsible for products like painkillers, antibiotics, and so on. And then shortly after, I was fairly successful, I guess. They promoted me to sales manager for Sweden. And in a very short period of time, I became the general manager. And the rest is history.
Povijest koju tek treba napisati. U knjizi spominjete podatak da farmaceutske industrije godišnje troše 30 do 40 tisuća dolara po liječniku praktičaru. To je jako velika brojka, s vremenom kako emisija će napredovati, saznaćemo i kako troše. No, za početak bi bilo dobro da nam opišete na koje sve načine nekada i danas tvrtke pokušavaju ustanoviti što najbolje može privući liječnike, kako rade njihove psihološke profile, to ste vi nekad radili, kako se danas u informatičko doba softveri koriste za nekakvo nevidljivo reklamiranje, da tako kažemo, jer očito je ključni udar ući u taj lanac između pacijenta i liječnika. To je lanac kog obično odlikuje povjerenje između liječnika i pacijenta i naravno to je mjesto gdje farmaceutske kompanije žele ući. Kako ste to vi radili u ona stara vremena, kako se to danas radi?
Well, when I started as a salesman, I had my own little territory. I knew exactly how many doctors I had, and like I said, I was greedy for success. I had to succeed because I was a colored man working, trying to survive in a white man's world, put it that way. I was the first ever colored person as a salesman in the pharmaceutical industry in Scandinavia.
S obzirom da ste ovu knjigu napisali, vjerojatno ćete biti zadnji.
No, there are many more that have come since then, several of them. I employed one myself when I was the general manager. And trust me, I got a lot of stick for that because I'm not supposed to employ black people without proper permission from the big boys ahead. Anyway, I decided that if I'm going to sell anything to anybody, I got to know them. I got to know them like my brother or my uncle or whatever. So I set about myself to do profiling on the doctors, not all of them, but the ones who had patients, the one who could generate prescriptions to make my sales go up. And I did that by going out and socializing with them, finding out everything about their wife, if she's got blonde hair, her birthday, the children's birthday, which school they go to, what their social life was all about. And that is where I attacked. When I say attack, I mean I approached them, and when we became friends, I need help. I said, look, my budget is not, I'm not getting to my quota this month. Hey guys, give me some prescriptions. And they say, okay, John, be right. But that was on a friendship basis, and all my customers became my friends.
Bila su to humana vremena dok se moglo manipulirati prijateljstvom. Danas su malo nehumanija pa se manipulira kroz razne softvere i druge načine. Kako to danas ide u ovo napredno vrijeme?
Like the development of technology, technology was also applied by the pharma industry. They prepared computer programs that they will give to the doctors, telling them it makes their world and their work easier. For example, you would get a program where the doctor would click up this program and he will put in the indication, that is whatever the person is suffering from, and up comes a list of drugs to choose from. Like when you look at Windows and you're looking for something and you're downloading a software and it comes up there, do you want the upgrade or you want the advance? And they say, we recommend this. That's what the program does with the doctor. We recommend this, and holy, what do you think they recommend? The company's products. And that's how it's done. It's at a sophisticated technological level. But again, there's also this other, this other approach, the marketing technique that they use, where they recruit young doctors or students from the university, and they pay their fees, they pay their lodgings, they identify a subject that will be a future cow to milk, so they pay for that person. And that person, at the end of the day, becomes obligated to them. And all they need to do is send one of their reps over and say, remember we paid your the rent for your flat the other day, so hey.
Kakav psihološki učinak na liječnike imaju svi ti kongresi, pa čak spominjate i jazz festival za liječnike, pa večere uz degustacije vina? Liječnici su naravno isto ljudi, oni se dođu zabaviti, tu naizgled nema nikakve obaveze. Međutim, negdje se nevidljiva obaveza ipak stvara. Kakav psihološki učinak imaju na liječnike takvi kongresi i kako oni u stvari izgledaju? Nekad se zovu kongresi, nekad usavršavanja, u nekim tropskim krajevima su ponekad su možda u nekim koji su lijepi na neki drugi način. Što se tamo zbiva, koliko ima pravog usavršavanja, koliko ima zabave?
Well, the conferences, let me separate the conferences from the social approach, like the jazz music and the jazz clubs and stuff like that. You eventually, when you profile your clients, you know what makes them tick. For example, we started a session in Sweden. One of my sales guys came up and said to me, he says, how about doing this? And I said, what? He says, well, the doctors, they live in a social level and they love to drink wine, and they pretend to be wine tasters. So why don't we set up a program and invite in all the little areas, we invite the doctors on a wine tasting session. Of course, we paid all the wine and everything, we paid their dinner that evening and so forth. And the doctors loved it. We were the first, and we were the only people doing it. So we got our clients. They're obligated to us. Otherwise, they don't get another wine tasting session. They love music, and they love jazz music, or at least they pretended to. I can't say for everybody if they know what they were doing, but they follow the flow. If the big guys come to our jazz festival that I arranged in Stockholm, in Sweden, the little guys will follow because they like to mingle with the professors and the big guys. But when they're all in the party and they're drunk, because we feed them a lot of liquor, they all become the same. They become, it's not no more the professor and the resident. They're all the same. They're just normal human beings who you can manipulate as you want because their profession does not pay them enough as they would expect. So they get all the goodies. And I'm Father Christmas at the time, you know, I give them the goodies.
Uvijek sam mislio da Djed Mraz živi u Finskoj, a ne u Švedskoj. No dobro, između 1981. i 1988. kako pišete u knjizi, ta je strategija polučila dosta uspjeha, pa je recimo prodaja za tvrtku Lili u Švedskoj narasla sa 700.000 na 15 milijuna dolara godišnje, što je stvarno dobar skok. Nekako u to vrijeme stupaju na scenu i blockbusteri, tako se bar nazivaju u farmaceutskoj industriji. Što su blockbusteri i na koji način se njih pokušava ugraditi u potrebe ljudi? Postoje razni benoksaprofen, vioks, flukse, ti ne mogu ni izgovoriti te riječi. Kako je to počelo i koje su osnovne osobine blockbustera?
Well, the blockbuster, as you know, the word blockbuster comes from Hollywood. And, but it didn't start as blockbuster. It just came after the drug had taken off. But up to that point in time, let's say the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, some new hotshot executives had come in the company. And not only with Lilly, but with other companies. And I've sensed, and it was confirmed to me, that there was a kind of a plot going on. Because the pharma industry up at that point in time, at least from my standpoint, and from where I was working, if the company sold $100 million in a month, we drank champagne to celebrate. But these new hotshot executives were not satisfied with 100 million anymore. They wanted 1 billion. So they started preparing marketing, unbelievable marketing. I mean, when we were launching a product, when I became the general manager, I was told that we were launching a new product for pain, arthritis, arthrosis, and whatever. And that product was going to be huge because they've pumped a lot of money into the marketing. In my affiliate, for which I was responsible, I said, guys, if I'm going to make this thing as successful as you want, we need a budget. We need money. They said, spend what you want, John. And I did. I prepared some fancy shows for all the big opinion leaders. I prepared music festivals. I did talk to the opinion leaders and got them to come on our side. Wining, dining, women, and song. It was all there. I even had bought, before the registration was complete for the product, in Sweden, I had prepared a nice toilet bag of leather, you know, the doctors when they travel and whatever, and some other expensive stuff that they would be given when we arranged a symposium with all the top guys there. And the 5-star, well, the 5-star, I would call it 8-star dinner, you know, make the French